Our last speaker of the evening and is Faelyne Templar, and she's done something a little bit different about turning her hobby into cash flow, and so she will tell you about that. Faelyne Templar left traditional corporate life in 1999 to follow her dream and make a positive impact on people's lives. In 2004, she founded Avocation as part of living her dream to help marginalized individuals develop the skills to succeed in today's challenging workplace. Avocation has quadrupled its funding and size, and Faelyne is now continuously asked to speak about customer service, leadership, and accessibility to companies, governments, and interest groups across North America. So please welcome Faelyne Templar.
I don't stay still really well, so I'm going to take and run, if that's all right. So thank you very much to Benefits for Women for inviting me here tonight. I think one of the things just to say about the organization is I am so grateful to the support that I've received from Monica and from Benefits for Women, not only for myself as an entrepreneur. We're finding in modern society is that entrepreneurs are not only the folks in traditional business, but nonprofit very much is, you have to have that business savvy as well. And the support that I've received from Monica and the folks at Benefits for Women have been instrumental to, I hesitate, like I'm being so funny, but I hesitate to call it success, but really it is, and I need to own that and be proud. The success that we've realized at Avocation Employment Alliance of Durham. And one of the things I would like to mention about the SOS fund, and I think it's really critical, is that my clients have benefited from it, and some of the folks in this room were very, very supportive of one of my candidates for the SOS fund who was awarded it. It was a single mom who fled abuse with 3 children and needed help moving. We got her furniture, we got her moved, phenomenal, and it's the folks in this room. So thank you to you. And I want to tell you a little bit about my story, because I think we have heard some wonderful tips from Trina in terms of the things that we need to do to be successful in terms of turning our dream and our passions and our hobbies into dollars. And we've heard how we have to, support the girls. It's really important. Barbara, I need to see it because I got to check out for that scaffolding. I need that. And as Garth is always telling me, what am I, guys? I am such a fast back. I am such a fast back. And on top of that, I got the wobbly chin. So even if I say I'm going to do something, sometimes you got to chase me a bit because there's a good chance I'm on to the next thing, aren't I, Monica? So I want to, again, just tell you my story, because that's, I think, the only thing I have to contribute after going, after all these wonderful people. I think I've always been meant to be an entrepreneur, whether a social entrepreneur or not. When I was 13, I rounded up a couple of kids in my neighborhood who went door to door, and we sold sunshine. And sold sunshine. Because we couldn't, it was the 70s, there wasn't a whole lot of money, and we wanted to go to the movies, and my mom said, go earn it. Living your dream is something that I think has always been really close to my heart. And I've had a number of opportunities. I've been really, really lucky in my life. I've had a lot of challenges, and when I was 7, I met Carrie Elliott Trudeau. But for me, that was the first connection. Again, I was 7. How much of an impression did it have? Well, let me tell you, my son's middle name is Elliott. I ran for the Liberals in 2007. Maybe a little bit of an impression. No, in all seriousness, for me, that was the start of really starting to connect to things bigger than myself. Again, for me, I've just always really felt that if you really have something burning to say, you got to get out and say it. You got to get out and do it. When I first joined the working world, I was working at a high-tech company, and it was really exciting for me. I'd taken political science, but then I realized that there's not a lot of jobs in that. It was really cool because I can sit and I can go toe-to-toe on a feminist political discussion about any political system in the world. Not a lot of jobs in that. So I took a job with a high-tech company, and I really enjoyed it. It was a little entrepreneurial company that has since gone the way of many of the high-tech giants on March Road in Ottawa. But I got to travel the world. I got to do marketing in Singapore, in Thailand, in Hong Kong. I got got to just meet some phenomenal people and really enjoy myself. But I think one day, 1999, I thought, I love working here. I love working for Terry Matthews, who was the owner of Newbridge Networks, and the only billionaire I know who used to work on Sundays. How many billionaires do you know, Faelyne? Really just the one. But we would, it's a high-tech company, and we were all just, really young go-getters, so we'd be there on Sundays. Not just because if we worked on Sunday, they'd open up the beer tab. Not just because of that. And I think, for me, something was, it sounds so cliche, but really something was missing. Even Terry already had $6 billion. And every hour of overtime I put in, didn't really make the world a better place. And I grew up in a really left-wing family. I was a vegetarian. I wore Birkenstocks. I'm telling you, I reused bags before people were reusing bags. I'd be that little geek at the no frills with their own bags before there was a no frills. That was me. So coming home as Faelyne, the budding marketing executive just really wasn't sitting right for me. But that's okay, and it sat right for others. And gosh knows we had a great time developing new products and flying the world. And you know what? If it was over a 10-hour flight, I got to fly first class. That was fun. How many of those? 2. Mostly I was in the back squished for 9.5 hours because I didn't quite make the 10-hour, even with a layover in Seattle. But anyway. Then I think I had some personal things going on that really had me connected. I think for a lot of us, when we start changing careers, it's usually not something we sit down and plan and say, I'm going to work for 4 years in high tech. I will transfer then to marketing. No, we don't. And then say, at that point, I will follow my dream. No, it's usually a catalyst, right? It's usually something not always pleasant that happens in the personal life that gives you that one that smacks upside the head. And I've had the pleasure of interacting with a lot of people who are very spiritual, very mystical, if you will. Actually, one of the people who spoke at my wedding, those many years ago, was somebody who was a shaman. And she says, don't ignore the universe, Faelyne, because the calls get more insistent and less pleasant, which is so true. So I lost my father-in-law in 1998, and then I realized that I couldn't work for me in the corporate sector anymore. It's something I couldn't do. Maybe I'll go back to it, because frankly, I really liked going to Singapore, and first class is fun. But for me, at that time, I needed to make a shift. And I think for a lot of us, when we start thinking about, I need to nurture something in our souls, it usually is triggered by something out there that makes us look in here. And that's what happened for me. So I packed up in Ottawa, and I moved to Toronto, and I lived with my mother-in-law, bless her heart, for a year while I got my footing, and I started to work at Goodwill Industries of Toronto. And at Goodwill, I really connected with something that spoke to me, and that changed my life. Aren't I the cheese bag? But I'm telling you, it really did. I was able to leverage my marketing and project management skills, and they had me as a project manager. And that gives something that money can't even touch. So the work that I do, yeah, it's about living my dream, but I also like to think of myself and my team almost as a bridge that can let other people live their dreams. Thank you so much.